Okay. Can you guys see the PowerPoint? PowerPoint?
No, Mr. Cara, we can't see it.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, we're gonna have lots of problems today.
We can see it now.
The PowerPoint?
Yep.
Okay, good. So we're good here, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
perfect.
Okay. I guess we'll just do it this way then. Okay. This is uh, somebody has their sound, or is that me? That's me. Okay. So in search of the good. The whole course is called In Search of the Good, and we're going to start with this slide. The device depicted on the cover of the textbook In Search of the Good is Catholic Understanding of Moral Living is a sextant, a device that is used by sailors to aid in navigation. So the whole purpose of this course, grade 12 morality, is to help you find the means to search for what is going to be the good in your life. We started yesterday with carpe diem, and it means seize the day, make your life extraordinary. Um, don't be ordinary. Find your own path, find your own meaning in life, and then move towards it. And so this instrument that's used by sailors is a symbol of finding your own path to journey. Seek the advice of your friends and your parents, but it has to be your own search. As I told you yesterday, my cousin wanted to study math. That his parents forced him or encouraged him to study medicine, and he just didn't have it in him. So it took a whole year and a whole wasted year at university to tell his parents that it's not what he wanted to do. Now he's a controller for Chrysler, applied math, and a chartered accountant. Uh, you will disappoint your parents if you don't follow their path, but that's their path. I'm very blessed that my father, who only had a grade six education, um, allowed me to make my own choice in life. My parents gave me three choices in life. Number one, they gave me life from my parents. Number two, they allowed me to choose whatever I wanted to. So I loved math in high school. Um, I took triple math. I got 97 in all three of them, but I got bored with it. Something was missing. Something called derivatives killed me. Just just took the life out of my interest in math. And so when I went to university, I wandered, ended up in history and philosophy, and then majored in philosophy. And uh, my dad asked me, "What are you going to do with it?" I said, "I don't know. It's a good education, allowing me to question everything." Then he asked me, "Are you happy?" Well, yeah, sort of. Still trying to figure things out, but I'm happy trying to figure things out. He says, "Good. I only ask one thing of you. You graduate." So I was the first person in my family to graduate from university. And then when I fell in love, I ended up marrying a refugee from Africa. She's Indian and an African, third generation African, but originally from India. And got picked up by Idi Amin in Uganda, where she was living at the time. He was a refugee, and her wife is also disabled. She had polio when she was 8, which we're all vaccinated with polio, but she had the effects with braces. And she's Muslim. And again, my parents asked me, "Are you happy?" And they said, "Yes." And I said, "Yes." And they said, "Good." And they loved her to death. So they allowed me to marry who I wanted to marry, choose the career path. Eventually, I became a teacher, and they were happy for me, and they gave me life. So your parents have dreams for you. Uh, they're here in Canada for a better life, as my parents and my wife's parents, and their dreams for you may not be what you want. So have to dream is find your path, seek your journey, and be happy. And the only way to do that is by understanding what is good life. So we go next one. Let's see. No, I just did something, didn't I? Okay, here we go. Okay, ethics. Ethics is interested in the good that is sought out by human beings. These goods include such concepts as happiness, freedom, and self-fulfillment. So we have a charter of rights and a happy face. So this is little happy face here, yellow one, is what it means to be extraordinary. Not to stand out in the sense that it's yellow compared to blue, but be yourself. The only way you can be yourself is if you know who you are. The only way you can know who you are is to examine your life, discover who you are, what your strengths, and weaknesses are, and what you want to do in life. Does not mean to be number one, to be the best, to have more. It means to be yourself. Ethics is a search for the good. Stems from the Greek word ethico, which means focus on good character. Ethics can be defined as the should, what we feel is the good and the just thing to do. Ethics is about searching for the good in all things, such as day to day actions and responsibilities. This good is infinite. Catholic ethics relates to the Ten Commandments, which state how people are meant to act. Ethics leads to morality. Any questions here? Uh, I'll give you the. You want the PowerPoint presentation? Okay, later on in the afternoon, I'll send you. I'll email the PowerPoint to you, so you can have it as a guide. Morality comes from the Latin moralitas, putting our ethics search for the good into action through our works and words, our conduct. Focuses on our actions shaping life and how they lead us to attain the good. Morality is about how we achieve the good. Morality is the application of laws, customs, commandments, rules that we follow in pursuit of the good. For example, no smoking, no drinking, no parking, I guess, or no drinking and driving. Sorry. Difference between ethics and morality. Ethics concerns the good, the abstract concepts such as freedom and peace. Morality concerns the real life application of attaining the good through laws and customs. Okay, yesterday I gave you 4 situations. First one is a scream. So you're sitting on the beach, and all of a sudden you hear someone scream. And as I mentioned yesterday, it could be somebody playing volleyball and screaming that they got a spike. It could be somebody screaming that there's a shark in the ocean. It could be somebody screaming that they turned their ankle and are in pain. Or somebody screaming because somebody has a knife or a gun and starts shooting people. So it might be a warning of danger, or it might be a celebration of a temporary victory of some kind. When you hear the scream, you are almost like awakened from this trance of the peacefulness of the beach, the water, the fresh air. There's a spontaneous decision. You're lying looking at the sky, and all of a sudden you sit up or you raise your head and you look to see what the scream's about. It's a decision that you make. There's an automatic response, almost reflexive, which urges you to not think but to act. You're aware of your responsibility up to the other. or to yourself, whether somebody else is in need of help or you may be in need of help very imminently. And I also put down here, this is an automatic response that breaks through the calm of the day. So that's one way of responding to a situation. Okay. Curiosity. We can symbolize that simply with a question mark. What is the scream? What happened? Is someone in trouble? Am I going to be in trouble? Is there danger? Or is it a celebration? That's the scream. Any questions about the scream? If you're at home and you hear the police sirens going, if you're out of curiosity, you're going to go outside or look out the window, see what's happening. It's an automatic response. You're reacting to the situation. Okay, the beggar. All face-to-face interactions are ethical. Responsibility for others. The other person takes you hostage as they elicit a response from you. It can be guilt, it can be shame, it can be curiosity, it can be honor, love. It makes you responsible for the other person. Even if you walk away, the face stays with you, no matter what you do, something positive or negative. He or she is inside of you now, while you are busy defending a decision to give or not to give. Because you've encountered this face of the other, you cannot ignore it. It stays with you. So in the past, I tell a story of a bag lady. A bag lady is a lady who is homeless. I don't think you would call them bag ladies anymore. They walk around with a cart with all their belongings. And what happens is, her name is Ethel. She used to walk up and down the old elementary school I used to live in downtown Toronto. I used to work there, sorry. Her name is Ethel. And I'd be teaching and I'd hear Ethel screaming her head off. And she was very articulate when it came to swearing. I learned a lot of swear words from her. She would ask you for change. And if you didn't give her change, she let you have it. For her, it was a sign of disrespect. She used to go into the church next to the school and start asking for handouts before the priest would pass around the basket. And she'd make a lot of money. And so she got banned by the church because she was breaking into their business collection. She got banned from the church, believe it or not. But if you didn't give her anything, she would swear at you. Very colorful, and she had a booming voice. And you could hear her a block away. And so I'm teaching, and I hear her, oh, somebody said no to her. And one day I'm walking back to school. I went for a walk, and I see Ethel approaching me. And I'm really conflicted now. I know she's going to ask me for money, and I don't have anything with me. I mean, if I did, I didn't know if I want to give it to her. Maybe out of self-defense. I didn't have money. I thought about crossing the road, so I would not encounter her face to face. But I figured that if I start crossing the road, she sees me walk towards her, and then I make a right-hand turn to the opposite side of the road, she'll start swearing at me even louder. So I went straight up to her and I said, hello. And I found out her name. It was Ethel. I said, hello, Ethel, how are you? And she goes to me, you have some change? I didn't. And I'm expecting her to start swearing again. Of course, she starts swearing at me, but everybody else looks. Here it is. so I said to Ethel, sorry, Ethel, I don't have anything, but if you wait right here, I teach across the street here, and I had my lunch. What if we share lunch together? And my wife used to always pack, make my lunches, pack 2 sandwiches and some fruit. So I figured I'll go to the class, get my lunch, bring it back to her. So she looked at me very suspiciously, but I guess she gave me the benefit of the doubt. I wouldn't say trust me, gave the benefit of the doubt. And she said, okay, thanks. And she was polite, and she wasn't swearing. And so as I crossed the street, I said, oh, right, good. I'm free. I don't have to go back. And I figured if I do that, what's going to happen is she's going to remember me. Next time she sees me, she's going to give me twice. So I came back. I gave her a sandwich, and I had a sandwich, and we had a lunch. Stood there in the middle of the street, eating our sandwiches. Started talking to her. She was very pleasant. Underneath that rough exterior was a very pleasant person. She's very old, ragged. She smelled like anything because homeless people don't shower. But she was a pleasant person. And we became friends. And so I told my wife and started packing extra sandwiches every time I went to school, anticipating that I would run into her and I could share a lunch with her. And one time I had eaten my lunch, I was very hungry that day, and here comes Ethel. So I said, let's go around the corner, there's a piece of pizza. And as we entered the piece of pizza, she followed behind me. As I entered, no problem. So she entered. The owner of the pizza guy started screaming at her, how many times did I tell you to get out of here? And I said to the guy, she's with me. And so I bought her a pizza. There's a little pub around the corner. One time I saw her through the window having a beer. We used to call it a brewski. So when I saw her next time, I said, Ethel, I saw you drinking a brewski. Yeah, to keep me warm. So a lovely lady, had a nice story. And as I'm telling you, she's alive in my mind right now. Okay, this image of the face cannot, you cannot get rid of it. This is why when you walk into a beggar, your first instinct is, I'm not going to make eye contact. Because if I make eye contact, they're going to capture me. And so you're going to turn your head away. You're going to try and walk away, try and avoid the contact. But once you see the person face to face, that image of this person here is up in your head. Now, person is in a position of weakness. You are in a position of strength. But that person's weakness is their strength over you. Because the person's face calls out to you saying, help. Your response has to be hospitable, welcoming. You do what you can. A little bit of change, which I often have trouble because a lot of times homeless people, they use it for alcohol or drugs. For a cup of coffee, a donut, a sandwich, something that they can actually enjoy that thing. It's something very good. My daughter and I were at there's a dollar store on Bayview and Elgin Mills. And this homeless guy sitting in front of the dollar store. My daughter needed some artwork. And he wasn't begging. He had a cup there, but he had a harmonica. And with the harmonica, he was playing music, entertaining people who were coming in and out. And so you feel better if you're giving them something for something, the value. They play the harmonica, you give them a donation. You might feel better, warmer in your heart. You've done something rather than help out. My daughter and I decided to go across there's a country style coffee shop, and we got a cup of coffee and a nice donut. I think it's Boston cream. So as we went into the store, rather than put money in, we gave the person a cup of coffee and a donut, something that they could eat. So rather than give them some charity, we gave something that they could nourish themselves. Get the beggar face-to-face contact. This is what we're missing in this online learning. Is difficult. It is difficult to resist. If you look closely at this beggar here, the picture here, you'll notice that he is disabled, like my wife is. My wife wears braces, and her right knee is fused because she's so weak about this one break it. She got polio when she was 3. Thank God now we have vaccines for polio. They just eradicated it all over the place. Still places where polio is still affected, Nigeria, and Pakistan, and where they're suspicious of it. And there's about 200 cases in Russia because of bad vaccines. Syria's a problem because of civil war, Libya's a problem, so people aren't being vaccinated, so it's making its appearance. You'll see that this person uses this sort of card here to sit on, but also to maneuver. This person's picture that's been on the screen is going to be ingrained in your mind. This is what causes you to react. You have to ask yourself, are you your brother or sister's keeper? Are you responsible for this person? Or should the church or the mosque or the synagogue or the temple or the government or NGOs or charities, let them take care of it, somebody else will be there for it. The social welfare system. What's key though is the face of the person. We are social animals, and we deal with face-to-face contact. How you respond to the people. This is why when you get in trouble, you don't look at your parents. What do you do? Or you look this way, and your parent says, look me in the eye. Or because they can see everything through your eyes. That's the most important part, not the face. Even more important, the eyes. And your parents know exactly what you're doing. Okay. My wife knows exactly what I'm doing all the time. I cannot lie to my wife. I tried a couple of times, which she was another area of the kitchen. What did you say? Just come here, look in the eyes, and tell it to me again. I couldn't. But she knew right away it was not true. When you get in trouble, you never look at the person that says you're in trouble. Okay? Any questions about the beggar? Okay, next one. I have two. The third type of technical situation is obligation. Let me read my notes first. Obedience to rules, laws, commands, and what is perceived to be right based on what you are asked to do. The curfews based on the perception of authority and your response to it. So the experience of feeling obliged to obey a rule, you are forced to respond. So we have rules now for COVID. We're all sitting detached. Some of you are staying at home. And there's rules of the internet and on Google Meets. There's rules how you walk in the hallway. You have to sign a piece of paper saying, I'm going to the washroom. It's almost like we're in prison. What time you left, what time you came back. There's rules about being in uniforms. This is why I'm wearing a suit. Because you're in uniform and you honor me by being in uniform at school, and I honor you by dressing up and showing respect to you. Something that my parents always taught me, that you are treated the way you dress. And if you were going for an interview, you dress up. You wouldn't be civics. Look your best. If you go to a place of worship, you should dress up. Okay. You feel an intrinsic duty to oblige, i.e. to follow your parents' rules. It's the right thing to do. If you choose to ignore the ethical response, the unrest stays with you. There's also a fear that there's consequences and punishment. From the time you were an infant, it's been a tug of war. When you were born, your parents loved you unconditionally. They gave you everything. And then somewhere around 8, 9 months, as they're trying to feed you, you say to them, no, and you break their heart. We call that the human original sin. First time you break your parents' heart. And from then on, it's a tug of war. Your parents trying to hang on to you, and you trying to exert your independence and freedom. And as you get older and older, the rules seem to get stricter and stricter. And you seem to be, in the eyes of your parents, more and more danger, even though they raised you. And if they give you a curfew, it's because they worry about you, not because they want to control you and imprison you. If you say no to them, you might get grounded. If you say no to them and say no in an atrocious way, you might get kicked out of the house. That's your fear. Or you may lose your allowance, or you lose your computer or your phone. Things get taken away from you. So you follow the rules because it might be a good thing to do, or it's because your parents says it's a good thing to do. You'll find tomorrow, our discussion tomorrow, are the rules good because your parents said so, or are the rules good notwithstanding your parents? Okay, any questions about this slide? So I'll tell you a quick story about my father. My father smoked 20 cigarettes a day. And I hated the smoke. It bothered my eyes. I never smoked in my life. My younger brother, 2 years younger than me, he loved the smell of smoke. But he would go into my father's ashtray. There might be 5, 6 cigarette butts there. Take them into the washroom, and with my dad's lighter, would start lighting these cigarette butts and get a couple puffs here, a couple puffs there, and he was kind of satisfied that he was smoking at his age was 11 years old. One day, my dad caught him smoking. Took him out of the washroom and gave him a lecture. So, you guys can't see me online, but I have a chart. I'm pretending this is my father's cigarette. And he put the cigarette in his mouth and blew all kinds of smoke up and said to my brother, smoking is not good for you. I will not permit it in this house. You are forbidden from smoking in this house. And if I ever catch you smoking again, I'm going to kick you out. And 11-year-old being kicked out of the house. That's traumatic. What's wrong with the picture I painted for you? Anyone? Sorry? Yeah, but that's smoking, telling my brother not to smoke. Now, my brother and I, 2 years apart, we were competitive. We fought all the time. In fact, my mom had to send us to judo class because we were breaking too much furniture. And a couple of times I rammed his head into the wall and cracked the wall. My brother has a big head and hard head. So I was happy. Yeah, go, give it. All right, okay, he's in trouble. But my dad, and I love him dearly, he died 21 years ago. His third heart attack. And I could say this at the time, but my dad, and I'll say with all due reverence and respect for my father was a hypocrite. Because he was telling my brother not to smoke with a cigarette in his hand, smoking a cigarette. Who do you think he learned it from? Who was the example? At 54, my father had his first heart attack. And he was sitting on the couch, and the ambulance came, and he was smoking a cigarette. It was relieving the pain in the chest. And the ambulance paramedic said to him, absurd. You have to give it a cigarette. That's why it's making me feel good. Yeah, but I'll give you oxygen. If you have a cigarette, it's lit, and it's oxygen, you're gonna burst in flames. And that was the last cigarette my father smoked. After his bypass, two bypasses, after we recovered at home, I reminded my father what happened, let's see, 30 years earlier. Remember when you caught my brother smoking and you told him not to smoke? Yeah, I remember that day. It was a good day for me as a father. Yeah, but you had a cigarette in your hand. I know, but I'm a father. He does what I tell him to do. My father realized that he didn't have a cigarette in his hand. In fact, the doctor told him to smoke. But my father smoked because he had quit smoking. He put on 30 pounds and was worried my father was going to have a heart attack. He's too overweight. So they'd rather you smoke than have a heart attack. Unfortunately, my father had a heart attack. After his third heart attack, he passed away. But my father recognized and knew that this is not the best way to do, but that's all he knew at the time. It's obligation. Question is it right because your parents said so, or is it right even though your parents said so? Nothing to do with your parents. And what happens if your parents disagree? What happens if your mom says one thing, your dad says something, and you don't say one against the other, and then what do I? Okay? So this is the third type of ethical response. The fourth one, what's intolerable? Again, seeing images causes a reaction to us. So on the left, you see pictures from the Holocaust, not the same ones as the one in the textbook, not as gruesome as that one. And on the right, you see a poor child starving. I added that one in as well. What's intolerable is what cannot be tolerated. It's a feeling of anger and outrage that occurs. It overwhelms you because you see the suffering of others. And the suffering is the suffering of human beings. It goes against everything that you understand is decent in life and how you've grown up. It's in contrast to what we expect of fellow human beings. How can human beings murder 6 million people? How can society allow a child to be hungry and starve and cry? When you feel overwhelmed by the unjust suffering of others, the indignation you feel is an experience of contrast with what the world should look like. We have deniers that it's happening. If you go to the World Religions trip last year, if you go to the Vishnu Mandir, as part of your 11th trip, they have a hall of justice and peace. And they have a plaque of all the different Holocausts, genocides over the last 100 years. From the 6 million Jews that were killed in World War II to the Armenians, to the Rohingya Muslims, to Rwanda and the situation with the Houthis and the Tutsis, lots of genocides. How can humanity on a large scale hurt so many people? We're just not used to it. The sad thing about COVID right now is we're up to what, 8,500 deaths. That's just a number. Those are human beings. My wife's cousin got COVID in Africa. They flew him to London, England. He's a businessman, so he gets private insurance. Was put on a ventilator on the plane. And then in London, spent 3.5 weeks in a coma, induced coma, and dialysis machine. Twice he had to be put in a coma. He's now at home recovering, but it's going to be a long, long process. When we talk about COVID, I could put a face to it because I know the person. He was a wonderful man, did a lot of charitable work in Africa. Used to go around to businesses, ask them to sponsor children and adults who were poor, couldn't afford heart operations or eye operations. As part of the Rotary Club in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, would fly into India, all sponsored, and bring them back. Eventually, he started bringing the doctors to India, from India to Africa. Wonderful man, did a lot of charitable work for a lot of people, and now is sitting home recovering, 30 pounds lighter, very weak, and it's been 2 months now, and still in a very, very difficult situation. We have to put faces to it and see what we do to groups of people. Okay, any questions about this? Let me see if any questions from the class, and then I'll take any questions from the. Yes, good. Nice introduction. Okay. Okay, so if you have any questions, I'm going to send everybody the PowerPoint for you for your notes. Okay, so I'm working on my voice and on the audio. So anyone have any other questions on the homework assignment? If you could type in assignment. Okay, no, oh, here, could you list addresses of your email? Okay, Nathan, I sent you an email today to join the PowerPoint, and I gave you my K-12 account. You see if you guys got it all? Everyone should have it now? No problem. Good. When I sign things, it's often impossible for you guys to get it done right away because you also have a Peer 2 class online in the afternoon. So whenever you have things due like the chart, you can hand it in by the next morning before class. Whoever sent it to me, I marked and recorded. When you send me something, I will type in, thanks, Mr. Cara, that confirms that I got your assignment. So you know that I received it, so don't worry. If there's problems, we'll figure it out. Azane, just hold on a second, okay? I'll talk about today's assignment. So send me the email with the attachments. Please, 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 when you do send me an email, because what I'm doing is I print out your assignment. Okay, so these are all the assignments. I printed it out and I marked. Now the problem that I'm encountering is if I print it out and then there's no name on it, sometimes I lose track of who it is. So if you have not yet set the chart, when you send the chart, please write your name on it. When you have any assignment, please put your name on it. Type it in or write your name. Otherwise, I got to do it individually, and it's a bit confusing. I'd rather simply just print everything out. I mark it, and reduces the screen time for me. Okay, so make sure that you. I put that in the email as well. Put the name on the chart. Okay. Any questions so far? That's good. Good introduction to the course. Interesting, what we're going to be doing is these four presentations are going to be the next uh, sections of our unit. Aristotle, well, Socrates for today. Then we move on to Aristotle, Kant, and Levinas, which corresponds to things we've been talking about. Let's see if the approaches there. Okay, so next thing I want to do is see if I can get rid of this. Did you receive? I'll have to check later. I can't check right now. Let's see if I can do this.
Good to see you. Hey, what's with the polka dots? What do you mean? Polka dots are out. It's focus.
One of our favorite stories is about a man. Now, this man.
Okay, so go back to my Google Meet. Okay, I'm going to show you a video by Princier, and this is going to be your first part of your homework for today. Will be a journal on Princier. Following from yesterday's assignment on Carpe Diem, what is our way of becoming extraordinary, as seizing every opportunity that we have in front of us and making something of ourselves for ourselves, not to please other people. I thought I'd show you this video. So this will be your second journal. Remember that your journals are for completion. And I try to pick journals that are relevant to what we've been talking about. So let's see if I can present now. What happened to Princier? Okay, can you guys see this? Where? Okay, and share. Here. Okay. And where's my PCA? Okay, is that okay now? Okay. We put the captions on. So what happened to my thing? I've lost my thing. I don't have my arrow. Sorry. You know, I can figure this out. I see the arrow here on this one. Oh, there it is.
One of my favorite stories is about a man. Now, this man is walking down a path and finds an egg, an eagle's egg. He takes this egg and puts it into the nest of a backyard hen. Pretty soon, the eagle hatches with the chicks and grows up with them. Now, all his life, that eagle did what the chickens did. He would poke around in the dirt looking for worms and insects to eat. He would fly a few feet into the air like chickens do. He'd cluck around. As time passed, that eagle, he grew very old. And one day, he saw something above him. This thing, it glided gracefully and majestically through the clouds. What's that? The eagle says. Oh, that's an eagle, one chicken responds. He is the king of all birds, the master of the skies. But we belong to the ground because we are just chickens. Don't worry about him. You will never be that. And that eagle lived and died a chicken because that is what he thought he was. This new year, it's time to take flight. You and me both know that you don't belong where you are right now. You don't belong with some of the people you're around right now. You got no business doing what you're doing right now. You're being a chicken when you were born an eagle. So now the question is, how long is it gonna take to make the decision, to make the shift, and show some courage, show some character? That word character is funny. You know, character is the ability to carry out a resolution long after the excitement of the moment has passed. I'm gonna say that again because some of y'all might have missed it. Character is the ability to carry out a resolution long after the excitement of the moment has passed. Are you gonna say you wanna do something? Do it for 2 weeks and then quit like you did last year, like you did the year before last? You say you want to lose weight, get in shape, get your business off the ground, get closer to God, and then turn around and party, get lit, drink alcohol, eat like crap, and continue to live below who you were created to be, thereby committing the greatest sin known to man? No. I'm not religious, but I'm gonna take you to church. Watch this. See the word sin. Watch this. See the word sin comes from the Greek word sin used in archery. It means to miss your mark. The greatest sin in life is to miss your mark, to not be who you were created to be a chicken instead of an eagle. I don't know if you guys remember growing up the story of Icarus. You know, a lot of people remember Icarus being this guy who he had the wings made out of wax. His father cautioned him not to fly too high or the sun will melt your wings, and what happened? It was Icarus's arrogance that caused him to fly too high. Sun melted his wings and boom, fell to the earth dead. But that's not the full story. No, you didn't know there was more to it? See, Icarus's father also cautioned him against flying too low. He said, don't fly too close to the sea, or your weight will cause you to plummet into the water. See, we all know not to be too arrogant, well, most of us. But how many of us know not to be too humble, too meek, too timid, too shy, too safe? It is said that the greatest tragedy in life is not that people aim too high and miss. It is that people aim too low and hit. I see a lot of people on Facebook or everywhere, Instagram, talking about the friend zone. Hi, laughing. He's in the friend zone, the upper hand. But I don't see too many people making jokes about the other zone, the comfort zone. Ain't no memes about that. Ain't no jokes. You know why? Because a lot of y'all are in there. Well, in this new year, let's step out of our comfort zone. Fortune favors the bold, and it is the cave that you fear, the cave that you fear, that will hold the treasure that you desire. Forget a New Year's resolution. Forget it. Let's make a new life resolution to be fully and authentically you. I don't know what dream you have, but I can guarantee you there's somebody in the hospital right now praying, begging God to have the opportunity that you have right now. Don't blow it. It is time. It is time to go from mediocre to meteoric. It is time to go from being counted out to being counted on. It is time to fly like the eagle you are. Or do you want to continue to cluck with the chickens?
2 years into my marriage, I found out that my husband had a mistress. Whenever I asked him about it, instead of being sorry or explaining himself, he would hit me.
One of my favorite stories is about a man. Now this man is walking down a path and finds an egg, an eagle's egg. He takes this egg and puts it into...
Okay, sorry. Let's stop here. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is spend the next 15, 20 minutes writing a journal. I'll play the video again to you, and I'll also send it to you. On anything you want to do with Prince EA. It's called New Year's, or you can call it the Eagle, or Eagle and Icarus. It's called New Year's. It's easier. So Prince EA. Since this is a new year, you can talk about the story of the eagle, or you talk story about Icarus. And start with that, and then write anything you want. Please remember when you write the journal, don't just tell the story. Pick something from the story, and then write something that inspires you, reflect upon something for life. This is in addition to Socrates. So as you approach life, are you going to be a chicken or are you going to be an eagle? No, I mean eagle, not majestic, best bird of them all, but being the bird that he was designed to be. Flying, great heights, has incredible vision, incredible wingspan. So are you going to be an eagle or are you going to be an eagle that's living like a chicken? And the other thing is, or another choice you might have is Icarus. And with Icarus, a Greek mythology where he and his father made wings of wax and they flew. His father warned them, don't fly too high, too close to the sun because the sun's going to melt the wax and fall down dead. But also, if you fly too low, especially with the water, it's going to suck you into the water and you're going to fall. So, for yourself, be who you are. Be the eagle who you are, not the chicken. And don't be afraid to take chances and to take risks in yourself. Depend on yourself. Believe in yourself. Okay? So you have two choices or anything else, anything you found. So you're afraid of being, you work on your journal now, and say 15, 20 minutes, and then get that out of the way. And then we'll work on the next assignment, which would be Socrates. It's a big long assignment. So if you having practical stuff. Any questions before I play the game? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Michelle. I'll try to do that for you right now. Um, okay, for those of you who are cohort C, um, there was an email sent about textbook and packages in the cafeteria. I believe it's this afternoon. Check the email that the board sent. Um, I went to the cafeteria yesterday after class, and everyone's package is still there. Um, so I just sent something. Did it not go through? Huh. I just sent an email. For Michelle, whenever you can, I'll keep sending the material uh, through the emails until you can get your textbooks, unless someone can do that for you. But don't worry, I'll keep sending you the material. For David, yours, I made sure yours was there. It's in the cafeteria. There's a textbook and a brown envelope with the package. For Yuet Ming, Socrates Philosophical Life, it's in your package. It's the first assignment after the movie assignment. This is the assignment, guys. So it says Socrates Philosophical Life. Now there are 7 questions, and there's lots of questions. This is going to be a heavy assignment today, so that's why I'm going to give you the rest of the hour to work on in class and finish it off later. You do not have to send this assignment in. It's just for homework. I will be taking this up tomorrow with you. The day after that, we'll be doing something on Plato and Plato's analogy of the cave. And then by the end of the week, we'll be watching our first movie called The Insider with Russell Crowe and Al Pacino. It's a great movie. I love it. Yes. Homework? Yeah. Philosophical. No, that's the next one. It's the philosophical life is the next one after the questions. So it says Socrates, philosophical life, and there's 7 questions and lots of part A, B, C, and D. So 2 things for you to do for homework is going to be your journal. So do that first. I'm going to play the journal over me. I'm losing my voice, sorry. And second is you send the journal in for me sometime today, or at the latest tomorrow morning. And then philosophical life, Socrates, it's just for homework. Do the questions. They're in the order that they appear in the article. It's a bit heavy because it's written in more philosophical language. So the first part of the course in morality is philosophy, and then once we have the philosophical foundation, we can take it all kinds of places. So my apologies. This one gave me lots of time in class to work on it. For Azine, your journal should be 1 page, single spaced, like yesterday. Always like that, please. Okay, here we go. Azine, I'll check for the homework later. As I said earlier, if I receive something from you, I will respond with thanks, Mr.Cara, that confirms that I received it and corrected it. Sir, I picked up my textbook, but there was no pack. Oliver, there was a package. It's on an envelope. I checked on Monday, and it was there. Your textbook and your package together. So I'll figure out what happened there. Michelle, if your mom can go to school, great. It's in the cafeteria. Jade, I will send the Princey A video link to you. I'm going to play it again in a second. Oh, Nathan's got it for you. Thank you, Nathan, for helping Jade and all of us. Yeah, thank you. And then we go to, did you receive my homework again, Nathan? I stopped marking about, trying to think of, 3 o'clock. So I marked whatever was given to me up until 3 o'clock. I went home, had family duties to take care of. So it's probably in my email account. So Nathan, I'll check it right after class is over. Same thing with Azine. If don't send it again, I'm going to go check the emails at the end of class.
I'm on break. I give them a 15-minute break, so I was just wondering if you're okay.
I sort of figured it out now. It's working here and there, but not here. This was all synchronized last time.
Oh, so all 3 were the same screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Right now I got it working. Thanks a lot.
Okay, as long as you're okay.
Right now I'm good.
Maybe it's better that you have different screens so they can look at different things at the same time.
That's true, but you have to give me a new laptop with a webcam.
Right.
I have no webcam here.
But can they hear you?
They can hear me now, yeah.
Oh, can they
Except
hear me
for with the mask, it's hard.
now? Oh, hi, kids at home.
Yeah, this is Mr. Yanian. He's got a very energetic voice, unlike me, who's struggling.
Yeah. Oh, you've got Nathan Chan and Nathan Chang in the same class again. I had them in grade 9 together. I had Edison too.
Yeah,
I think I've had Edison like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, so I had Nathan Chan and Nathan Chang sitting next to each other,
yeah,
and it always messed me up.
And Edison too?
Edison was sitting in the back. Because I did it by last name, so he was in the back row.
Yeah.
I think I had him for grade 11 and grade 9. I don't remember. Edison, do you remember? Was it grade 9 and 11? Yes. Oh, see, look at that. I remember. Wow, fantastic.
Mr. Yanian is the greatest teacher in school.
No, I wouldn't say that.
I have a 3-letter word for him. Awe. I'm always in awe of Mr. Yanian.
That's very kind of you. So this is exciting. Grade 12 religion.
I'm so happy he's a religion teacher this year.
You guys know I'm a religion teacher. Well, those of you who know me,
Yeah.
I'm sure I mentioned it like 30 times.
And this year he's a religion teacher, and I have the honor of teaching next door to him. And my desks are next to each other in the religion office too.
Yes.
So I'm in heaven this year.
Thank you. It's very kind of you to say.
Oh, you're
And I should probably go soon.
a great guy.
Thank you. I've got, so I've been giving them a 1 hour, 50 minutes, then break, and an hour. That's how I'm doing my class.
Last time I tried it, I gave them a journal on 58. They learned about the word sin.
Oh,
Sin
yeah.
means to miss the mark.
Sin means the word that I should use every day, but every action in my life.
Miss the mark.
It's the mark. That's good.
You ever seen Prince
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Okay, bye, guys.
He goes, I'm not religious, but I'm a teacher.
That's hilarious.
Thanks for your help. He's a great guy. Okay, let's see a few more here. Try and answer these questions. Okay, let's see. So Nathan, I'll check for any assignments at the end of class. Same thing with Azim. David, there's email that was sent by the board. I don't remember. I think it's around 1 o'clock. Answers the question 1 to 7. If you look at Socrates' philosophical life, there is first page is a question sheet, and then the next I think 5 pages are all the material that has the answers. Now, when I write questions to any assignments, they're always in the order they appear in the article. So look at the question, and then just answer the questions, and then we'll take these up tomorrow. Okay, Nathan, good. Mr. Gainian is gone now. Great guy. So we should only send you the journal. Not yeah, that's correct, Azim. The Socrates assignment is only for homework. Homework you do your own way. For those who don't have textbooks or packages, I scanned the assignment for today on to my email. You'll see it down there. Okay, say you're good. And any other questions? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Prince A again one more time. And it's going to lower this just a bit. And then we'll come back after, okay?
One of my favorite stories is about a man. Now, this man is walking down a path and finds an egg, an eagle's egg. He takes this egg and puts it into the nest of a backyard hen. Pretty soon, the eagle hatches with the chicks and grows up with them. Now, all his life, that eagle did what the chickens did. He would poke around in the dirt looking for worms and insects to eat. He would fly a few feet into the air like chickens do. He'd cluck around. As time passed, that eagle, he grew very old. And one day, he saw something above him. This thing, it glided gracefully and majestically through the clouds. What's that? The eagle says. Oh, that's an eagle.